says his father's former live-in girlfriend, Pamela Woodbridge, illegally evicted him after his father went to jail.
How old are you, Mr. Mazur?
21.
When did you turn 21?
April 30th.
Now, in May of this past year, you were living with the defendant, correct? And you were living there with your father.
Yes.
And your father and the defendant were engaged to be married or living together. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing with yourself in May, sir?
I was beginning to go to college at that time.
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing with yourself in May, sir?
I was beginning to go to college at that time.
What do you mean beginning to go to college? Who begins to go to college in May?
No, I was going to go through summer courses.
That starts in June or July.
Well, registration's in May, though.
That's not a major effort, sir. That's not doing much going to register for school. It's not necessarily a full-time job. What were you doing with yourself in May?
Nothing at that time.
What were you doing in April?
Well, nothing at that time either, ma'am.
Well, let's try March. What were you doing with yourself in March?
Nothing, preparing to go to school. I was...
You mean getting into the thinking mode? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Mr. Mazur? All right. All this has a purpose, sir. You're suing the defendant because in May, according to both of you, your father got arrested, taken off to jail, leaving you living with a perfect stranger, right?
No, we lived together for 8 months prior to that.
8 months, a lifetime.
We were pretty close. Well, they went out for 2 years before that.
But you were living with them for 8 months.
Yeah.
And your father was, I assume, contributing to the household. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's a two-bedroom
Yes.
apartment.
Yes.
So after your father was arrested, you were still living there. You are suing her for $4,000. You say she illegally evicted you from the apartment, and she kept your furniture that you bought.
That's correct. It was bought for me by my father.
It was bought and for you. You
Yes.
better get, before you go to college, you better brush up on your English. It was bought for you by your father. Now, what did you expect her to do, Mr. Mazur, when the person who was contributing to half the rent, I assume half the utilities, is hauled off to jail, leaving her with a total biological stranger to support? Because you're on your way preparing yourself for college. What do you expect her to do?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I got steroid psychosis because they tried to put me in remission. So I went crazy, and David kind of came into my life, and I didn't know he was a con artist.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Matthew Mazur claims his father's former live-in girlfriend, Pamela Woodbridge, illegally evicted him.
Who are you?
I'm his father.
Terrific. Step up here. Mr. Mazur, how did you expect this lady to take care of business? When you
I was taken into custody by the parole department based on some facts that the sheriff's department gave them, which
So
to
you were
date
on
they
parole?
never even filed on.
So you were taken into custody on parole violation?
Right,
Did you spend any time in jail, sir?
Yes.
So you were taken into custody on parole violation?
right.
Did you spend any time in jail, sir?
Yes, I did.
How much time?
6 months.
What arrangements did you make with the defendant to support the household while you were in jail?
None. It was paid for through the first of the following month, and I didn't anticipate staying in jail very long.
Okay. So she told you that you had to find another place to live because she needed a roommate who could afford to pay at least half the rent.
That's correct.
Sounds right to me.
He was on the lease.
Who put your name on the lease?
She did.
Did you put his name on the lease?
He's listed on the lease as a minor.
Let me ask you this question. How long were you living in this apartment?
I moved in on November 10th of 1996.
And when did he move in?
He moved in, I couldn't
At
put
the
him
same
on the
time.
lease, right.
Shh. At the same time.
But I couldn't put him on the lease because David has been to prison 2 or 3 times for credit card fraud, and so his credit is ruined.
Now, this young man moved in with you later.
No, at the
No,
same
he
time.
did move in at the same time as
So you
well.
all moved into this apartment together?
Right.
Okay. Mr. Mazur, I assume you moved into this apartment and your arrangement was, because you told me that you did, that you were going to pay the expenses on the apartment. You paid the rent, you paid the utilities, correct? Right? That was your arrangement with this lady. Where had you lived before?
I had a house in Dana Point, and in 1995, I got multiple sclerosis, and my husband of 11 years divorced me. And anyway, to make a long story short, I got steroid psychosis because they tried to put me in remission. So I went crazy, and David kind of came into my life, and I didn't know he was a con artist. He has scammed me out of $180,000. And I have my credit report right here to show.
The question that I'm asking you, and that's all very interesting, is when you moved into this apartment, I assume your arrangement was, because you did it for some 6 months, that you would pay the bill, get hauled off to jail for 6 months, leaving her with the apartment. Nobody would get hauled off to jail for 6 months, leaving her with the apartment. Nobody to pay the rent.
And your son. That's where you're wrong. I had $5,000 in cash with me at the time I was arrested.
So what did you do with it?
Which was to pay her attorney to fight for the custody of her children. That money was taken, and I have this document, was taken in by the Department of Corrections and mailed to me the following day to the jail. For what purpose, I don't know. But I did have...
Did you get $5,000 from him?
No, his parole officer told me that David did have, I think she said $4,000, and she asked him, did he want her to give it to me, and he said no.
Just a minute. Do you have any proof to show me, Mr. Mazur, that you provide... Just a minute. Do you have any proof to show me, Mr. Mazur, that you provided the defendant with $5,000 in order to cover the expenses of this apartment while you were away? Don't show me a lot of papers there. Show me where you turned over the money to the defendant to cover the expenses of the apartment.
The apartment part was, here it is right here, $2,993.
Let me see it.
And the Sheriff's Department kept it. They said they could not give it to her because they arrested me.
Just a minute. So the answer is she didn't get it.
Yes.
So what are you showing me this baloney for? She didn't get it. So what you're telling me is I should take your good intentions into consideration.
No, she rented it, but what? The rent was paid to the end of the following month.
All right. She doesn't have to keep your son there not working. Now, furniture. You had furniture?
Well, David had gone out and bought a futon for Matthew on my credit card. Well, it may have been a joint credit card.
Right.
David was doing credit card roulette, basically.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He went out and bought a futon.
Right.
Is that the only piece of furniture that was bought specifically for Mr. Mazur Jr.?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there are other items. What other items, sir, do you say were bought by your father for you?
Not really any other furniture, just a couple tables and...
Tables? What tables?
Just like end tables.
End tables? What end tables? Talk to me.
His mother took those.
What end tables?
They're just glass end tables, brass.
That your father bought for his 20-year-old son?
No, those were mine when I brought them there.
Okay, so where are they?
His mother took them. She came and picked up his things.
Except the futon.
Exactly.
Which you paid for.
Which I sold.
Which you sold.
Right.
And which was on your credit card.
Yes, ma'am.
Or on a joint credit card.
Right.
Which he wasn't paying from jail.
Right.
Good.
Excuse me, the insurance was paying for it. When she came down with MS, the insurance picked up all the bills. She virtually had no bills with the exception of the rent.
So just a minute. Why should she have any bills? That wasn't your arrangement. Mr. Mazur.
But there is an eviction process you go through in the state of California. You just don't throw somebody out and lock them out.
Where is his mother?
My mother, I can't live with her. She has cats, and I'm fatally allergic to them. So I can't live with my mother.
Your mother has cats, sir?
Yeah.
I have no more time. This lawsuit is nonsense. The case is dismissed. Who are you?
I was his girlfriend at the time, and he did have a job when he moved there.
I was invited by them to go to school. That's why I went there. And they didn't have the money at the time to pay for me to go to school.
Mr. Mazur, it's not her fault that your father violated his parole and served 6 months. She doesn't have to support you, sir. She's got enough trouble of her own.
That.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.